I wanted to ask you, if I were your advisor and I brought forward a business that I wanted to recommend investing in, and that business lost $1 billion every year, since its inception, which you guys are older than I've been alive, has your company ever made a profit in any single year?
No.
Okay, so if I brought that turd of an investment to you, would you consider me a good investment advisor?
Well, Congressman, I think the purpose of Amtrak's creation was not to create a dividend for the Treasury or create sort of an investment vehicle. It was to maintain and enhance passenger rail service as a fundamental piece of the mobility picture in the United States. And so I think Congress has been pretty clear that it's a service that requires investment, just like public transit service everywhere, or rural roads. These are things that need to exist to support commerce, to support our culture, support connectivity.
Right. Okay, I'm going to get back some of my time here. The question I think most Americans ask, and I think people in my district, it's been said before, is that when you have a business that cannot operate and operates at a deficit such as yours, how do you justify giving bonuses in the amount of $200,000 to yourself and other executives?
Well, again, I would say that Amtrak's mission is to connect America. Congress has been quite clear about their expectations about our route service, about all the operations that we make, and we do so trying to balance the need of service and our finances and be good stewards of the taxpayer money. To do that, we have to have an excellent...
Who owns most of the rails that Amtrak uses?
97% of our route miles are owned by another railway. We're a tenant.
So you are a tenant. Do you pay them?
We do.
How much?
Incremental cost by statute. So it depends on the route, but this is set by...
And they're required to have you as a tenant?
Yes, because remember, they had the obligation to run passenger trains by law, and the government relieved them of that obligation and created a federal corporation to take it on.
If I were to ask them if they were here, would you as a client, are you a net loser for them? Are you a liability?
No, we have an incremental cost structure, which means we pay for the incremental costs associated with our use. Our trains are very light. We use very little of the sort of consumables of a railroad. And then we provide incentives for good on-time performance. So some carriers view us as a source of profit and are very focused on getting the incentive pay for good performance.
So one of the questions I have is, we just went through this pandemic, and one of the key issues for my constituents coming up here was do something about the supply chain. Your trains, what's on average, what percentage are they full?
Right now we have load factors in the high 60s, so it's quite good. So 60%.
60, so about a little over half full.
Yeah, but at peak periods, somewhere in the 90%. So when those segments, again, it's very different than an airline because we're serving many communities.
When my constituents are trying to get goods and services timely into my district, do those freight trains have to give preference to these 50% or 60% occupied passenger trains?
By law, they have to give preference. But I should say that we run a tri-weekly train across various parts of our network, one train a day, 7 cars, 10 cars. These are not in position to being able to deliver freight service. I'm a former train dispatcher. I certainly know that there's ample capacity and you can run an efficient freight operation with passenger transport.
I just want to press on you the impact that you have on the taxpayers. When I calculate per taxpayer in my district, your impact, just your deficit alone, costs every taxpayer in my district at least $7. Okay, now that may not be a lot of money to you, but to people in back home, they debate whether or not they're going to have Netflix or Amazon Prime or if they're going to pay the cable bill, right? And you're draining from every taxpayer $7 for a service that most of them, the vast majority of them, will never use. And so I'm asking you to reconsider your operation and try to become at least somewhat profitable.
Congressman, I appreciate that. We take very seriously our role and the stewardship of federal funds, where we recognize that all of America pays for this service, as it does a variety of things the federal government invests in. We are looking to achieve, again, break even. We were at break even essentially in 2020. We would have ended with a net surplus had the pandemic not occurred. It's going to take a while to get back there, but we're focused on improving the financials and